Good morning, students. Today we will see a poem named Vocation, and the poet was Rabindranath Tagore. A vocation is a type of profession which demands special commitments, a calling, or a destined profession which gives the person a special happiness and fulfillment. So this is the definition of the word profession, that is vocation is such a profession where the person gets happiness and fulfillment. Now see, the poet Rabindranath Tagore has written the poems in free verse. He employs the first person narration. The narrator is a boy who observes different people at work during his day. Let's hear the poem Vocation. So now you will get the opportunity to hear the poem Vocation. Rabindranath Tagore was a great playwright and a poet who expressed the boy's feelings through this poem. See the poem. When the gong sounds 10 in the morning and I walk to school by our lane. Gong means a flat metal bell rang to draw people's attention. So the boy walks to school at 10 o'clock in the morning. At that time a metal bell rang. Every day I meet the hawker crying, bangles, crystal bangles. Crystal means glass. There is nothing to hurry him on. There is no road he must take, no place he must go to, no time when he must come home. The boy thinks that this hawker doesn't have any fixed schedule. He doesn't have any type of hurry or haste. There is no shortage of time. There is no time limit. And even the way, the road is also not fixed. The place is also not fixed where he has to go every day. And even his returning timing is also not fixed. So the boy thinks that the hawker's life is too good. So the poet has written the boy's feeling, I wish I were a hawker. Hawker means a vendor. Spending my day in the road, crying, bangles, crystal bangles. When at 4 in the afternoon, I came back from the school. So in the morning, while going to the school, the boy looks at the hawker and thinks that the hawker's life is too good. He has full freedom. There is no time limit. There is no fixed way. So the hawker can move anywhere, at any place. Even his destination is also not fixed. Where to go? How much time will the hawker stay at one place or spend the time at one place? There are no certain limitations. So the boy thinks, I wish I were a hawker. So the boy has a wish to lead a life of a hawker and to enjoy the freedom. This is the one thought in the boy's mind. So when the boy returns from the school in the afternoon, at that time the boy looks at a gardener. So gardener means a person who takes care of the garden, who waters the plants, who digs the land, who sows the seeds, and takes care of the plants. So when at 4 in the afternoon I came back from the school, I can see through the gate. See the picture, there is a gate, and through that gate the boy is able to see the gardener. What was the gardener doing? He was digging the ground. The gardener does what he likes with his spade. Spade is a tool which we use to dig or to spread the soil or to collect the soil. He soils his clothes with dust. Though the clothes of the gardener are soiled with dust, nobody takes him to task. Take someone to task is a phrase. It means scolds and corrects, means shouts, angrily shouts at someone. So the boy thinks, see, the gardener likes to do this work and therefore the gardener is doing, and there is no one to scold him, to shout at him if he gets baked in the sun or gets wet. Even when the gardener is baked in the hot sun, when he works in the hot sun in the afternoon, at that time also nobody shouts at him. If the gardener is working in the rainy season and he gets wet, his clothes are wet, in that case also nobody shouts at him. So the boy thinks, I wish I were a gardener, digging away at the garden with nobody to stop me from digging. Just as it gets dark in the evening and my mother sends me to bed. So poet thinks that the gardener's life was also too good. So the boy thinks to be a gardener and lead a life of freedom. So this is the second situation. In the second situation, means suddenly while going to the school, the boy has different ideas, and while returning from the school, the boy has different ideas. So it happens according to the situation, what he comes across. Now the poet has mentioned the third incident in the poem. What does the boy see and what thoughts does he have in his mind? So the poet says, just as it gets dark in the evening and the boy's mother sends him to bed. So after dinner, the boy's mother forces him to go to bed. So when the boy enters the bedroom, so through the open window, the boy is able to see the watchman. You know the watchman? Nowadays in most of the buildings are having a watchman. He keeps an eye, he watches. So the boy thinks, I can see through my open window the watchman walking up and down. What the watchman is doing? Walking up and down. The lane is dark and lonely. When does the watchman walk up and down? When the lane is dark. There is darkness, there is no light, and it is lonely. Lonely means there is no rush, there are no people. So the poet says, the lane is dark and lonely, and the street lamp stands like a giant with one red eye in its head. And in the street there is a lamp, a street lamp. And by looking at the street lamp, the poet imagines that its street lamp is looking like a giant. Giant means a very big monster who is very dangerous, horrible, and that monster is having one red eye in its head. The watchman swings his lantern, and the watchman is having a lantern in his hand, and with the help of this lantern, that is a night lamp covered with glass so that it will not buzz off. So the watchman is having a lantern, and as the watchman walks, the lantern also swings, moves back and ahead as his hands move. As at his side, and never once goes to bed in his life. And the boy thinks that this watchman, whom the boy watches through the open window all the night, the watchman enjoys, moves, walks up and down. It means the watchman doesn't go to bed. It means the watchman never sleeps in his life. So poet thinks that, it means the boy thinks that the watchman is also leading a very free life, a very good kind of life. There is no limitation where to go, and alone on the street, alone he is there. There is no one to obstruct him, to stop him, to shout at him. So the boy thinks what a good kind of life the watchman is leading. And when the watchman is walking, his own shadow walks at his side. It means he thinks that when the watchman walks, just beside him his shadow is also there to accompany him, because there are no human beings. So at least the shadow of that watchman is there. So the boy thinks, I wish I were a watchman walking the street all night, chasing the shadows with my lantern. Chasing the shadows means following an imaginary goal or target. So the boy thinks, how would it be good? Means how good it will be if the boy becomes a watchman. So the boy will be walking the street all night, and he will try to chase, to follow, to run behind his own shadows with his lantern. So in these three situations, the boy has different ideas. So he has selected three professions. First of all, the boy thinks to be a hawker, that is a vendor, that is a salesman, having a cart. In the second incident, the boy thinks to be a gardener. And in the last one, the boy thinks to be a watchman, because watchman's life is also good according to the boy. So in this poem, the poet has used the figure of speech onomatopoeia. So this onomatopoeia word, figure of speech, is what? Wherever we feel that the sound of animals or birds are mentioned, such words are used. which express the sounds of animals and birds. Then the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. The poet has written the poem in free verse and expressed the young boy's thoughts as it changes, how it changes according to the situation. Students, you are also young boys studying in 8th standard. While coming to school and going to home, you may across so many people. Have you ever thought that what would you like to be? You must have. So first of all, it is very necessary to select the goal. And you know, one of the great personality from our country, that is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, has mentioned that to have a big dream, and if you want to follow our or fulfill our dream or to achieve our target, we will have to work hard. The poet mentioned through this poem that even the small boy who is going to school at 10 o'clock and returning